Welcome to Unscripted Gaming. This is in case you've never heard it before, is where a bunch of guys just sit around with drinks in their hand and we talk about video games. And today we're going to talk about E3, and we don't have a lot of time, so we're going to hit this one hard and fast.
Post Electronic 3 reactions and takes.
The hottest of takes.
Purely from a consumerist level, because, well, we're consumers. We like to buy video games. So I think that's only fair. Agreed?
I'm actually Phil Spencer. I've been meaning to tell you guys this for a while now.
I don't know why I get your opinion sometimes. It always just leads into the trollish ass comments. Anyways.
Never once. You know, you should probably also say who we are because we didn't introduce ourselves yet.
Oh, yes. I'm Ray. You
I'm
are.
Mike.
I'm Josh.
And you are.
What up?
Good. And let's go ahead and start with the people that opened it up first. Who opened up the first this year? I think it was
Electronic Arts with Electronic Arts Play.
Let's go ahead and go in the round table.
Outside of the event. But
so
still around
Mike,
E3.
Stop it, Josh. Mike, you introduce yourself first. What games did Electronic Arts show that you wanted to talk about? That got you excited?
I think the one, I guess the two things I was kind of excited for. I guess they're basically doing what I said that they should have done with Battlefront 2, which is just add more stuff. And they're like, "Hey, we heard you, and we're adding more stuff." And we're like, "More stuff!" So that's kind of exciting to see. I don't know if that's going to be a day one purchase for me, but I technically I thought it was very impressive. But I think just a little bit more refinement on the whole package is. It sounds like that's what they have going there, which is pretty cool. And I guess the other one that was kind of a surprise, was because the announcer is this game called A Way Out. And it's like it's a co-op only game, which I just think as a concept is really interesting, and I think opens up a lot of really cool things in terms of the story that you can do. I guess that hasn't really been done before, and it's from the people who made Brothers, that kind of adventure game. So I thought that was a really interesting looking kind of Shawshank Redemption kind of prison breakout story. Like you're kind of working together to kind of get out and stuff. I want to know more about it, and I think I really want to play that game with Josh. And I think it'd be great content.
Awesome.
Keep an eye on 2018 for our hashtag A Way Out streams.
Josh, what games did you see from EA that you liked?
What I liked, I agree with Mike. I liked the A Way Out. I really like the cut of that game's jib. I think that it's really cool that the game is progressing simultaneously in that co-op screen the whole time. So somebody could be in a cutscene while somebody's doing something. I think that's a really neat idea, and really want to see how they flesh that out over a whole game. I do say that they better sell that game in a duo, or they fucked up. I like Star Wars. I really like the fact that they are talking about that game. It seems like they've actually listened to the feedback they got, and they even admitted, they got that feedback and they listened to it. So talking about all of the content being free, all of the maps and stuff that they'll be adding, at least for the foreseeable future, coming to that game for free. So keeping the player base all together, and not trying to continue to gouge. I'm sure there will be microtransactions and stuff so they can make additional money on that game, but not for things that are actually gameplay, which I think is a great idea. And it sounds like the different packs and stuff are all going to be themed too around different eras or battles or something like that, which I think is also pretty good.
And I think I wouldn't be surprised if EA the Battlefront team took a lot of notes from Titanfall too, because that's how they've rolled out all their kind of post content for free. And I mean, I think they have like loot boxes, which I get why people buy loot boxes in some games, but Titanfall boxes make no sense to me. It's like, why would you? I mean, I don't know. I don't know. It's like the cosmetics.
I think this is the first time I've actually heard Mike like.
Yeah.
This is the first time I've actually heard you against microtransactions.
Oh well, there you go. It's on
also.
Tape.
I think FIFA 18. I think this might be the year I get into FIFA. I kind of like the way that game looks. I like some of the stuff they're doing with it. I like I'm looking for that game that I can play on my own, that I can pick up and just play a little bit and then put down, something I can throw up on the TV pretty easily, through my Steam Link or something like that.
Telly.
So I think that might be a good option. But man, they really need to go back to the whole where they had the simulcast in London and the one in LA, because the American audience does not get excited for FIFA the way the British audience did last year. So while FIFA looked really good, man, the hype was just not there in the crowd. So that was a little sad. Yeah.
Ooh,
Alright,
I guess
cool.
I almost segued us into the next conference when I realized we did not talk about.
Ray's got to talk.
Oh yes, Ray, please proceed. 'Cause I
EA. EA they showed a brief teaser of Anthem,
Yes.
which we could talk about in probably coming up here in a couple seconds. But really, I want Star Wars Battlefront. The story mode where you get to play as the Empire. I'm an Empire fan, and I gotta tell you, I was like, all right.
In-depth Cinema Caliber story.
I was like,
nice.
I see you, Star Wars, and I think you have my $60 because I'm sick and tired of playing as the fucking terrorist Rebel Alliance. If you want me to play as a good guy Empire, I'm like, all right. And they have new classes in Battlefront now where you can play as officers and snipers and recon scouts, and it's basically Battlefield except in the Star Wars universe. So it is, as Josh had said,
wait,
it's just
hashtag
Battlefront 2. You guys are going to see a theme throughout this recap, and this Josh was right for a lot of different ways and reasons. Sometimes it's the dumbest of them, but he was actually right. It's just Battlefield, but Battlefront 2. It's Battlefront 2 like we all played back on the PS2, and you know what? I'm in.
Sure.
I'm in hard.
Let's do it. That's all I needed.
Are we, just real quick, recapping an old joke, are we sure they're not just re-releasing the original Battlefield 2, like, just a little prettied up?
It kind of feels like Battlefield 2 and Battlefront 2 had this great baby.
You put it in, and it's just like loads of these PS2 graphics, and they're like, oh, look out. It's like, well, what do you mean? The load times are really fast. It's 60 frames a second. It's got all the eras. What's your problem?
They're just like, what? Just give us money, goddamn.
Anyway.
Let's talk about Microsoft. Are we really done with EA? Because I only want to talk about things we were interested in. And that's really at the top of our minds.
NBA Live
They
is
teased-
kind of meh.
Yeah, I mean, and that game has been, I think, that game was supposed to come out, I think, about 17 years ago, and it just kind of kept getting pushed back a little bit until the kind of point where people forgot about it, and they said, oh, it's all new! Again! Even though we talked about this last year, but you probably forgot about that. Hopefully you did.
It'll be fine.
And then they teased Anthem, but that really didn't come until Microsoft's press conference, so I don't really think we can talk about it in EA's thing. So.
Let's talk about Microsoft. Microsoft came in and they answered the question that was on everyone's mind. So again, roundtable. Mike, what you think about Microsoft's E3 press conference? What's got you excited? What do you want to talk about?
Well, we probably need to start with the scorpion in the room here.
Wow, that is a Josh caliber pun.
Josh very much approved of that, I think.
I did. That was Josh
singing
approved.
that pun.
Wow.
Ding! There it is. Yeah, give me them pearly
You gotta
whites.
screen cap this
yeah.
and then put this on the picture.
Okay. There, I screen capped it.
Nice. Yeah, so they unveiled a $499 console that
$499.
looks like it's going to might be worth $499 because it can run games pretty. We'll see what that kind of looks like when it gets out in the wild. I honestly was a little surprised that people were expecting they're going to launch it at like $350 or something crazy like that. It's like, I mean, they've kind of been messaging this thing. It's like, no, this thing is going to have a premium price. It's a premium price. It's a high-end console, premium price. Like, they've been kind of. I don't think you can go $599 US.
You can't get a vapor chamber for under $400. I mean, come on.
Exactly. You can't just go the Nation doesn't do it cheap like that. You know what I mean?
So, Josh, I've been willing to put up with a lot of your bullshit. but you will not bring Vape Nation into the sanctity of this podcast.
Hey, I didn't.
It sounds
Phil
like
Spencer
somebody's
did.
not keeping it
Phil
cool.
Spencer
in the
brought the Vape Nation to the
liquid vapor
Xbox
cooling of the Xbox One X box.
Wait,
Xbox
did I
X-
miss something? Is it actually liquid vape? Is it actually liquid cooled? Did I miss
it
that?
actually, it's not liquid cooled. It's vapor chamber cooled. It's how.
What the
TI
fuck? Are you serious?
Yeah, the NVIDIA 1080 actually uses a very similar method in its heatsink, and I'm not 100% sure how it works, but it's something about yada yada. There's stuff moving in there.
Yeah, it looks very. It looks.
Didn't
It's a
know that.
sleek looking thing. It's the smallest console they've ever made, which I thought was kind of interesting.
Yeah.
I guess I wasn't expecting that, but I was like,
I
oh.
think they were
Did you
getting sick
also-
and tired
did you
of the
also
jokes.
hear, Mike? Did you also hear? Not only is it the smallest console they've ever made, but it's the most powerful console ever made. I don't know if you heard,
Oh.
but some people.
Oh, I saw
mentioned
that on my T-shirt. Man, those I could not believe those T-shirts. There were some. Go look up those T-shirts. That. Oh God. That's right, baby. Microsoft's back with the best console. Oh yeah. It was horrible. It's also 4K. I don't know if you ever heard of anything ever being 4K, but after that conference, it's like, what isn't this book isn't 4K. This salad isn't 4K. Why do I even care about these things anymore?
Guys, don't
Come
worry.
on.
Minecraft is in 4K.
Mama.
Wait, let's have a breakout conversation, not about Microsoft, but about Xbox One X. Before I get into my thoughts, Josh.
Terrible
what do you?
name.
Wait, hold on. Before I finish, Mike, did you finish?
No, breakout. Let's break out.
I think let's stop and talk about the X. on
Because
itself.
it's important. They just announced a new console, a relatively new console at E3. How often does that happen?
Yes, I think the name is terrible. I really do. Especially if you have a lisp. Trying to differentiate in vocals the Xbox One S and the Xbox One X is just is too much.
Daffy Duck would have a frustrating experience purchasing an Xbox.
Yes,
in
he would.
In 2017. Poor shame.
I got to
And
give it to Josh again. He was right. If you take the abbreviation of it, it's just Xbox. Xbox One X.
Actually,
And-
for me, it's Xbox. It's the Xbonix.
I hate you so much.
or the Xboxix.
Xbox.
You can't just take the win. You have to fuck with it.
Yeah.
A true troll.
Hey,
anyways.
if it's a cheap win, I don't want it. I gotta win it fair and square. So that was like a half win.
Microsoft's marketing department, you're not
Hey,
going to take
hey.
that win.
No half
Okay.
measures.
Anyways, please continue.
Hot reference.
I guess I can't remember how much of a prediction we were like, what should X company do? But I think if Microsoft had an objective of show off the Scorpio and then show off a lot of games that you can play on your Scorpio, I think that they did a good job of doing that. Because after the Scorpio was shown, they're like, okay, that's done. We're just going to hit play on this YouTube playlist of like a ton of games. And I thought they had a good job of like diversity of stuff. Like, I mean, I'm just looking at the list here. I mean, they had things like Dragon Ball Fighter Z, which looks really rad.
Yeah.
They have like Plunk Bat, PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds, coming to like their Xbox preview, early access program, which is kind of cool. They had some early looks at Assassin's Creed Origins, Forza, Minecraft 4K, Life is Strange, Ori Will and the Wisp, Cuphead, Crackdown, Sea of Thieves. Like
Metro Exodus.
just Metro. Like I think they did a really good job of just showing off like, hey, people say that Microsoft like Xbox has no games. Well, here's a ton of games. So enjoy.
And I think I had even meant. I think I said something about that, like, thinking about what was coming out or what was teased about getting announced, that Microsoft would really struggle with the launch of the Scorpio if they also didn't give people some reason to buy it, and like Forza wasn't going to be enough. Now, I'm not saying any of these titles on their own may or may not be enough, but having this big of diversity and also showing some of the titles that people may already have in their library or be interested in that have been out for some time that are going to be updated for the Xbox X. I think that's really important for them, and I think that was a huge part of their conference, was saying, like, look, you're going to have all these old games that are going to get updated to run better on this new console. You're going to have all these games coming out in the next year and a half that'll play better on this, that'll look this good on it, that'll look 4K. If you have a 4K TV or you're thinking about getting it, you're thinking about a console, this is going to be the one for you. And I think they made that argument better than I expected them to.
I disagree, because nothing about what they showed justified me throwing $500 at them for a whole nother console, especially when Mike brought up the point of, like, Mike ran down a list of a couple of games. Only about 2 of those games were like Xbox One X, I guess, or Xbox One exclusive. Most of those you can get for the PC or some other console. So, and at most of their conference, when they were shown for Xbox One and Windows, it's like, you know what, that little tagline "and Windows" down below really doesn't justify your purchase any better. I'm surprised your marketing department is letting that one fly. Maybe you don't care, because
they don't. They will sell the number of Xbox One X's that they plan to sell. It is not going to be, I mean, it's their powerhouse. It's not their flagship. Their flagship is the Xbox One S. That is the one that the mass market is going to buy. But there is a certain level of consumer that is either going to upgrade to a 4K TV or has a 4K TV and wants content for it, or wants to be on that best platform for their console, or has a laptop or you know, a slower desktop, and they just like the convenience of a console game. That's where their friends are. You know, they like the plug and play, because sometimes it's harder to have a computer in the living room for home entertainment. Like, it's a smaller market, don't get me wrong, and at the end of the day, Microsoft just wants you to buy their software on whatever platform you're on. You know, that's why they got big with the whole putting Word and all their programs on iOS and Apple products, because they just want to be wherever their customers are, whatever platform they're on, as long as you are consuming their software. But they're giving this hardware to a specific set of the audience and saying, hey, we're going to give you this powerful console to play these games better on your 4K TV if you have one already, or you're planning to upgrade one. Like, you are not their target audience, right? Because you don't have a 4K TV and probably don't have any reason to upgrade one right now or any thoughts of. So stick with your current Xbox and just keep buying their games. Like, they're happy with that. Or go buy an Xbox One S because they're going to be $250. Like, they're giving it away, basically. Like,
man, that's nice.
Or just download their games on Steam and Windows 10 Store, because you have that too, and like, just play their games. I get the sense from Microsoft right now, like, they just want you to play their stuff wherever you are, whichever way you want to.
I mean, you keep saying that they just want you to play their stuff, but you realize if I buy Assassin's Creed on Ubisoft's store, they're not going to seem a dime in that money. So I think you're taking an extremely cavalier attitude towards the millions upon millions of dollars that goes into the research and development of a new console. Maybe Microsoft has the money to burn like that.
You know, buy that too, obviously. But, you know, if you... Yeah, I think that kind of goes without saying that they... Also, that's also a very important part of the strategy, is that people see that hardware, and enough people make that power comparison between a PS4 Pro, because I think that's the one thing, is that the Xbox One X definitely kind of outclasses the Pro. So if you want, they're not wrong in saying that this is the most powerful console ever made, which is, you know, I think is going to be a big selling factor for a lot of people. But
I mean, graphically speaking, the Xbox One X is right now going to be more powerful than my PC.
Can we just say, I'm going to bring history into the fold real quick, and that'll probably be my final thought on Xbox One X. Historically, power has never won in any console generation, ever. It's always been game selection that wins. That's it. That's all I got to say on Xbox One X. Like I feel like you can have the biggest dick in the room and no one will care.
Yeah, you got to have good games on it. That's for sure. And that's why it's really important that they announce the fact that they have original Xbox backwards compatibility, so you can play Otogi on your Xbox One.
How long have you been holding that one back?
Like for the past 5 minutes.
Okay, because I felt the energy from that one and I appreciated it.
I mean, if like I saw that and I was like, oh, cool, I can play like Crimson Skies. Okay, yeah. And then I was like, wait a minute. Then it just made me mad because I'm like, what do you mean they haven't made another Crimson Skies since the original Xbox? What do you mean there hasn't been an Otogi
I mean,
since
I
the
was just
original
excited
Xbox?
I could play Fusion Frenzy again, which is the only game I ever played on the original Xbox.
I do not like you. And I've played Fusion Frenzy, so I know how bullshit of a comment that is.
Oh man, that was a great game.
No, it was a piece of shit.
I loved it.
But it was like, wait a minute. Wait a minute. And then you know, it was like, I know From Software is busy with Dark Souls money, but just give me
Dark Souls money.
Just give me a little bit more Otogi. Oh, it's so good.
Hey, From Software.
If I ever buy an Xbox, I don't think I will, but I'll be able to play some Otogi and I'll be all right. And that seems like a good point to kind of end on Microsoft here and.
Well, specifically Xbox One X.
Sorry.
They
What's up,
have some
Josh?
games.
What do you got?
Fucking, I know I already said the words out loud, but can I just tell you again how excited I am that there's a new Metro game coming? Like, fuck yes. Give
I
that
never played
unto
them,
me.
so your excitement is appreciated. I hear good things about the Metro series.
They're really good. I really enjoy Metro 2033 and Last Light. Those are real fun games, and I'm kind of very excited to see where the story goes. Yes, Mike.
We kind of almost forgot to mention it. What did we think about Anthem? It's from BioWare.
Yeah, that was next.
BioWare Destiny.
I got everything fucking here, so I got you. But yes,
Let's talk about Anthem. My thoughts on Anthem. Looks like BioWare Destiny. I don't know.
Looks like
That-
BioWare Destiny.
Those mech suits look dope as shit.
Yeah, they look cool. I'm not going to play it probably unless
Like
you
a nice
prove
mech
to me that, because I've been fooled with Destiny before, and I've played Destiny, and Destiny 2 looks good. You got to show me something magical to make me switch off the Destiny train.
I will say, I think the movement in that game looks really, really cool. I like the way it looks like the different mechs will traverse and that they can fly around and go underwater, and in the way they do.
Yeah, I thought that
They
was
navigate the world. I think the world looks great. I think that storm that was happening was real cool. I hate the fake chatter that they use in these games. It drives me up.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
That's my.
I'll-
oh God!
I'm probably gonna play Anthem over Destiny, just to piss off Mike. But that's
I knew it! I fucking knew it! Fucking knew it!
We haven't seen.
I already
anything
pre-ordered
yet.
it.
I'm immediately dismissive of this game.
This
now.
is the first game
This
I've
game is-
pre-ordered in like years.
What a ludicrous suggestion. That
Mike, you like me are on the
Don't
Destiny
actually
train.
pre-order
What you
games.
think of
Please
Anthem?
Don't. It's a terrible idea.
What a ludicrous suggestion.
Yeah. I mean,
I'm
that
curious.
was my big.
I'm
That was my big takeaway from the Xbox Microsoft press conference.
Well, hold on. I want to hear Mike's. Since Mike is like me and also on the Destiny train, I want to hear. Well, you're actually pointing at him on my screen. What Mike thinks of Anthem.
I mean, Anthem. I mean, it's so with a lot of things. You know, it's so early on that we have really no idea. I mean, because you know, Destiny at E3 was a lot different than day one Destiny. So, or the image they painted of Destiny, or the yarn they weaved. So again, with all E3 things, it's a big grain of salt.
Yeah.
But definitely in reference, we have to stop. Okay. E3 sidebar before we move into the Bethesda stuff. We have to stop fake multiplayer chatter and
Yes.
esports chatter.
The mic trick. Yeah.
Especially the esports chatter, because nothing makes me care about your game less than somebody shoutcasting your game with no context. I was like, oh, he's got the blah, 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 blah. He's got the flipper dobber. He's going all the
Are you talking about Darwin Project, where like you have no idea what's going on, and there's just this dude Yeah, that was terrible.
Yeah,
and then they just like flash the name,
was,
and then they pull out,
like,
and nobody talked about it. They literally just had the guy shoutcasting this thing, gave no context, and then
no
pulled away
context,
and moved on to the next thing.
Nothing. Like, just what is that? Why do people do this? Why? Like, if anything, it doesn't make me like more excited about what's happening. It just makes me immediately tune out, because it just it. I don't want to say like it shows like a lack of confidence. Like, I can smell your fear, but it's like it's just distracting. It's weird. I don't.
It's like
stop.
a publisher's take on what voice chat should sound like, but it's like the publisher never went online to hear what voice chat really sounds like.
How do you do, fellow kids?
It's like it's full of dick jokes.
Oh, sweet!
That's
I
what
got a
voice
new
chat is.
Boulder Galder run gun. That's gonna be so nice. Yeah, I got this mortar last weekend. Because I had that moment at first, and I was like, "Oh, those are some good in-game voices." Oh no, those are in-game
bad.
voice chats. That's
Oh,
bad.
look, here's Sharon on her second screen experience. Oh, wow. Hey,
Hold up, I
Sharon.
gotta call Kim in. What up, guys?
You can just talk to us like we're adults. That's all we ask. Anyways, we should move on to Bethesda.
Okay,
And,
so
I think
we were
other than-
right to dunk on Bethesda for 20 minutes.
I
last
think
month.
for a
My-
couple caveats, I think besides a couple caveats, I think
My
we were
fears-
pretty right to dunk
My
on.
fears were
Yeah.
laid bare. I said that Bethesda having a press conference, they didn't have enough IPs to like really hammer it home every year, and that this year might be be rough. And
Oh, it was
man,
rough. Man, that was a painful press conference.
Hey guys, you want to play Doom and Fallout 4 in VR
Hey guys.
No.
and Skyrim in VR?
Do you want to play Skyrim
No.
again? No, fuck off! I've played Skyrim for 6 years. Fuck off!
Skyrim as a service.
Hey guys, do you want to pay for Skyrim mods?
I
No,
was gonna say,
I don't want to
hey,
pay for Skyrim mods.
want-
What the hell is
Do you
your
want to buy
problem?
Skyrim again and then pay for mods in it? Because that worked so well
Holy
last time.
shit!
Skyrim
No.
Instead of getting different cosmetic gear, you get a mod. I'll
At
let
least
you
you
have
get the
that
Master
one for
Sword.
free, ZeniMax. I'll just take the royalties on that, please. Mod loot boxes. You heard it here first. It's gonna happen, and you're gonna hate it. Oh, that's such a horrible idea. Why did I say that? Oh no. We should delete this. Oh God. Oh, it's so bad. Oh no. Oh, it's so bad. Mod loot boxes.
The
It's gonna
sad thing was the whole carnival vibe was really cool, and they wasted it on a really lackluster show. They announced The Evil Within 2. My comment next to that, and my notes, I said lots of milk.
Lots of milk. I don't know what you
You're
mean.
not
by
very
that.
good at taking notes, are you?
He
He
mixed his notes with his shopping list.
Ooh, who poured like 800 gallons of milk in a swimming pool and let him like float up and down in it?
Ew.
I thought I guess another, and there's one big thing we'll save at the end here, but I guess it's kind of cool for like more Dishonored stuff. I'm a fan of Dishonored. I think those games are really cool. I liked Dishonored 2. It was very much just Dishonored 1, but with a protagonist who talks now and has a bad vocal performance, which is distracting
Yeah.
when you're talking to yourself all the time. It's like, oh my God, just stop. So I'm interested in more. I really like the lore of Dishonored, so I'm always down for that. But how about that new Wolfenstein?
I
BJ
need to play the
Blazkowicz,
first one.
motherfuckers.
That was a pretty
Can't
sweet trailer.
Kill him. You can't kill BJ. God damn it. Oh.
Josh, that was a good trailer. I love that. That's a good trailer.
That was all I need. I'm ready for everything the new Colossus, which is the name of the new Wolfenstein game, has to offer. The whole like Man in the High Tower, Nazis in America in the 60s and 70s, and
Mike.
Americana
Mike.
appropriated as
Mike.
as like
Liesel,
with like
not
Nazis.
Lassie, Liesel, and Milkshake Nazi, and oh man, I'm
Nazi. Everyone loves Milkshake Nazi.
I'm
We regret to
digging
inform you
all
this
that.
Nazi is
The
racist.
fucking acid trip. Mm.
Yeah,
And it sounds like too that they will carry over the decision you made in the New Order. There was a slight branching path thing, and they will carry that into this game and the way things move forward there. Yeah, I do believe the developer, I can't remember his name right now, said in a couple interviews, but yeah, I'm
Going
I'm
all
ready
Mass
for some
Effect
more
up in here.
fucking Nazi blasting in America. Like,
I'm
man,
gonna have to play the first one. Give that a shot.
you really should. I very much enjoyed it. It was
I played it and I liked it. I don't think I finished it. I kind of petered out on it towards the end, but
Yeah.
it's pretty good.
It took me a while to complete it.
It's a long game.
Yeah, it did. And I definitely played it over a long period of time, but you know, I kept coming back to it, and you know, usually games like that I put down and I don't really come back to. But after I was like, I need to kind of see where that game's going, or you know, just like that feeling, kind of like with Doomed, of like bringing back a lot of the old mechanics and feels of first-person shooters, but with modern sensibilities. Yeah, I'm really excited for that game.
Yeah, it
I
was
think
very
it's gonna
pretty
be real
looking
good.
too. It was very very pretty.
And BJ's got that sick eye scar.
Next
Love
year,
yourself some
Bethesda just
I love BJ Blazkowicz. I think he's great.
Bethesda. What I want you to do next year, I doubt many people from Bethesda listen to us, but if there's anyone, I have some friends that work at Bethesda. Just like, I actually have one friend that's in marketing for Bethesda. So hear me out. Listen, man, guys, just like piggyback off of other people's shows. You don't need a whole press conference for yourself. That was. You announced 5 of the games you announced you already made. You don't need to announce DLC for games you already made.
You
on
don't.
Press conference.
You don't need a press conference every year.
Or you can
Yeah.
always just like do it like the Nintendo Direct thing, like just
Sure.
put out
Oh,
a
we'll
tight
get to
30,
that. Oh.
30-minute. Just put out like a tightly
Well,
edited
that's the
video
thing. It was
thing.
only
and
40 minutes. They only did 40 minutes. It was a short show.
We'll get to Nintendo and how they apparently have perfected how to do a press conference at E3. But before that, while we're talking about Nintendo, Ubisoft and Mario XCOM were the first things that came out.
That looks great.
I was shitting on this game when I was watching it for the first 2 minutes, and then they show gameplay, and I said out loud at work, I take back every negative thing I've said about this game. This is a day one purchase.
I'm not usually wrong. I might be able to count on like 1, maybe 2 hands the number of times in my life I've been wrong.
Fucker!
This was one of them. This right here. Shitting on that game like, oh my god, Mario Rabbids. Ugh. Can I... Fucking Miyamoto-san coming out with that blaster, just like...
I thought that was dumb. I'm like, here we go. Here comes the bullshit.
I thought it was just classic Ubisoft. Like, yes, let's make a meme of this. Yes.
Can I just say though,
Tom Clancy's.
I would watch
Clancy.
the Miyamoto-san Yves Guillemot buddy cop show. Like straight up, I would watch those two with those blasters.
Would they have the
going
blaster
around
arms?
Fucking 70s style.
Dun,
beating up
dun, dun,
dudes
dun,
and-
dun, dun.
Yeah.
Somebody's trying to stream our game ahead of release. Kill him.
I'd watch
Yeah,
that
the Mario
Criminal.
Rabbids Kingdom Battle game looked great. That game looks fucking amazing.
Yeah, looks colorful. I think like it had like, because the last like XCOM style game I played was
XCOM?
Massive
Oh.
Chalice.
Oh,
And
okay.
this game and Mario X Rabbids looked a lot more like just all the like the movement options you had, and I think all the other kind of fun abilities that you're going to be able to have.
When they have like a skill
look-
tree in a
It
Mario
looked
game.
exactly like XCOM. It looked like Ubisoft said, let's just
Half
take
cover
XCOM
walls.
and make it silly.
Yeah, I think it looks great.
Can Can I real quick just have a brief thing I noticed too when they were talking and Miyamoto and Yves were talking. They were talking about the great partnership that they had over the years working on platforms like the GameCube, the Wii, and the Switch. They forgot one.
Rip.
Just kind of riding off the Wii U.
They know who butters
Where's
their
my
bread.
zombie 2, damn it?
Also, I want to switch lapel pin because that shit is dope.
That's a nice pin.
Yeah.
I can't believe of all the little features.
Yeah. Things I wrote down in my notes as I'm watching the press conference. It's like, I want to switch lapel pin.
I can't believe... Anyways, moving on.
August 29th. Like, that game's coming out real soon.
Yeah.
Is that the release date?
Yeah.
Well, there's $60 gone August 29th. Yeah. Just show me a demo to secure the purchase, but that game looks great. Mike, I want your thoughts on the new Assassin's Creed game, where they're taking it back to Egypt.
I don't, I mean, it just kind of, I guess, like, with some of the stuff that they showed off, because they did a little bit at the Microsoft conference, too, and I haven't seen too much more, I guess, footage from the week of that they might have been doing more extensive demos of. As someone who recently came off of Horizon, and, I mean, I liked Horizon, but I guess kind of watching it, playing that game alongside Zelda made me really kind of see how a lot of the shortcomings in Horizon, and I feel like, again, I haven't really seen a lot of it, or I don't, and just, so take this with a grain of salt, but I feel like a lot of the shortcomings that I think Horizon has, for me at least, I think I very much see in Assassin's Creed. I mean, it looks like Assassin's Creed. I think the combat looks a little bit more, I think it looks a lot better than Assassin's Creed combat has looked previously. I really like the setting. I think this kind of the story reboot is very much needed and appreciated. So I'm still kind of out on it, but we'll wait and see here. I guess was there.
I could not believe that they did that whole cut to the guy playing the game on a fucking small TV.
What was with that? Yeah, playing the game outside in the parking lot.
Yeah, it's just the post-show thing. Come on.
But it was during the press conference. They're like, hey, we're going to take a look at some of the gameplay, and then they cut to these guys playing, and they're filming the screen, and then the guy has a poor angle on it for a while, and it's black, and it's like, where's the direct feed from this thing? Some people were speculating that, because they were doing a larger show later, or that it might get shown in a different press conference, that they weren't going to show as much now, especially because still a lot of the stuff's an alpha build. But I am very interested in the setting, but they're going to have to give me a reason to come back to the Assassin's Creed franchise. They're going to have to show me they have learned from their time off and from the stuff. It's sounding like that they've revamped the combat, which I think is good. Mm-hmm. But this is one of those games where I'm definitely going to want to see a bit more and hear from people about what have they done to really change this and say this is a time to come back to Assassin's Creed.
Okay.
Agreed.
Good to hear. I'm going to wait for someone else to play it because I can't force myself to care. I stopped caring about that series back in part 3.
Made it farther than I did.
Thanks. I guess. I don't know. Far Cry 5, anyone care about the gameplay footage that they showed? Mike looks like he cares.
I'm a big fan of Far Cry games.
Yeah.
I honestly, if they succeed with the story, and with minor tweaks to the kind of core, I guess formula of Far Cry, I'm super on board with that. Not that I don't think that there's things that could be changed for the better about Far Cry. I'm real sick of climbing towers. Please stop. But I think, it looks like Far Cry, and a setting that we have.
Climb trees.
There are more trees than towers. Oh no, what have you done?
What have you
But
done?
it looks like Far Cry in a setting that they haven't really explored at all. So I think that's where a lot of my excitement for the game is, and I think we won't really see. Well, I guess we won't really know if they kind of stick the landing on that stuff until it comes out. But yeah, I think the Far Cry gameplay like loop is something I really enjoy. So if it's just more of that, but in a really unique setting with a really interesting story, I think I'm very much on board with that game.
Josh?
I am very excited, but also very nervous for this game. I hope that some of what we saw at the press conference was just trying to be a little extra flashy to get people to buy the game.
Mm-hmm.
There were parts where I was like, okay, maybe they actually get where there's like they're getting the tone right, because like they were very overt with the violence in the street and the way that this group has taken over this town, and the way that they interact with the locals and how they treat them and how they punish and whatnot. And I was like, okay, this is getting real gritty. This is real good. And then you have this like fucking rip-roaring guitar montage of like blowing shit up and boom, 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 bow, 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 get the dog, eat the bum, bite his ass. And you're just like, those
so
two
close.
things don't mesh.
And yet,
it's like, I don't
so
want
far.
I don't want the rip-roaring guitar, woo, blue, 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 good time. I want the real
You want
gritty,
you want like the Far Cry 2 kind of tone.
I want that social commentary. I want the real, like, let's take a fucking look at the real monster.
Let me tell you about
Us.
Far Cry 2. Let me tell you about Far Cry 2.
Far Cry 2 is a
play
good
Far Cry
game. I
2,
played
Josh.
it. I've played it.
I think they've got potential here to make a real good game.
I think the story will pay off. The story still looks good.
I just hope they don't have that tonal dissonance the whole time, like between the combat and the story, because that can really let down the story if you're not engaged in that. Don't get me wrong, you're gonna need some comic relief. You're gonna need some breaks from something that deep. But like,
it's like there's a variety. You can have variety in your experience without undermining the weight of your overall narrative, I think.
Yeah.
So the game is going to troll Josh, and like 5 hours in, you get a mission, and then when you're walking up to a house, out pops Poochie the rockin' dog, playing guitar, riding a skateboard, going with his hat backwards.
And then he's going
dies
to
on
have
his
like
way back to
realistic
his own
animated
planet.
mouth, and he's just going to be like, they paid me more, motherfucker. Pew, pew, pew.
Anyways, guys, The Crew 2, I don't care. I'm sorry, that was a ploy. I don't care. I didn't play The Crew 1. Nothing that showed me of The Crew 2 made me even think that this was a real game.
Okay, well, here, Ray, what if I told you we took a game where already the driving mechanics weren't very good, and then we added even more vehicles so that
I'm curious
they
what the plane control would be like.
could be even worse.
You're just like
You
gyroscopic
start a plane
through
race.
the air.
And then whoever
Also-
can spend the most money on playing loot boxes by the end of the race is the winner.
I don't know if you guys noticed
Plane
this.
loot boxes. Okay, let's talk about the game that actually matters, and I'm not getting to the big
Real
one
quick,
yet.
can I just say one more thing?
Yeah, go for it.
Weird thing I noticed about The Crew, it really seemed like the cutscenes were like hard rip-roaring action and real fast and I'm making a lot of sound effects today. It's weird.
It's very helpful.
The gameplay, when they would cut to gameplay, looked really like it was slogging, like it was really slow comparison. That really stood out to me. I was like, yeah, the cutscenes look really good, but man, your gameplay looks like you're not going very fast.
Maybe it's only going to be like 30
it
frames a second.
Sucks.
Maybe it was the school zone,
not,
okay?
Not a frame rate thing. It's just like it looked like the action didn't move very well. Like you're kind of like, oh, I'm gonna do 60 on the highway. Maybe if I'm gonna be bad, I'll do 70. Like, I don't know. That just
Interesting.
There was a game that they showed, which is just Assassin's Creed 4 pirate ships, Skull and Bones. And
we heard you motherfuckers talking about Black Flag.
we heard you talking shit about Black Flag. How about a game that's
fucking-
nothing but the best section of Black Flag?
Just have
Okay. Yeah, I'm sorry. Did you want to make money? Because this is how you make money. I don't know what they were trying to prove holding it back this long, but yeah, that game looks good. Pirates.
And I think the last
Skull
thing
and
I really
Bones.
want to talk about with Ubisoft is the Beyond Good and Evil 2 trailer.
Can I just tell you,
it's
Trailer looked good. Trailer looked hot.
I know nothing about Beyond Good and Evil. It's been in my Steam library. I've never played it. So this thing comes on, and here are my notes. Mouthy monkey, gross pig with mustache. What? Exclamation. I was very confused. I had no idea what was going on.
So this is nothing like Beyond Good and Evil 1.
No.
I was actually very confused that for one they were cursing like motherfuckers. Like I was like, okay, Beyond Good and Evil 1 is rated like T at most. And this game's like, no, this is a hard M. We're gonna talk dick jokes and saying the F word. All right, okay.
I thought it was great. Like, I think it was a great trailer. I think I really like the kind of world it kind of implies. I'd like to see if it becomes an actual game someday. We'll find out. And that
It was
that's all
Michelle.
Check in about another 15 years.
Michelle Ancel might finally get to make the sequel to his game. That's cool. We're gonna move on to the probably one of besides Bethesda, possibly one of the most boring press conferences.
I
Sony.
think that's fair.
Can I just say I was never really sure when the press conference actually started?
This isn't a press conference. This is a YouTube playlist in a theater full of people who don't look that excited about anything.
Well, and then they started off with the weird like ESPN like dudes in the box commentating on stuff, and then like cutting back after a replay and going over stuff. And then they
Bill,
started like, then it was like, then they cut to the theater. I'm like, oh no, that wasn't the press conference, because I was like, that's a weird vibe for a press conference. But at least they're sticking to it. I can respect that. I don't know who these guys are, but whatever. They're talking about the games and they're giving a little context and whatnot. And then they said, no context. Fuck you. Then they went and they started the YouTube playlist in the theater with nobody talking about anything. And it was very jarring on a year where Sony really had to fucking bring it.
And I mean,
I don't know about all that. I mean, no, I agree with what you said, everything except the last endpoint. Like, did Sony have to bring it? I don't know. They're kind of the super market leader right now.
But that's the thing. It's why Coca-Cola still pays a ass ton to market. When you're in the lead, you don't take your foot off the gas.
Okay,
And
that's fair.
With Microsoft coming out with the most powerful console ever, I don't know if you heard or not, but it is.
there are t-shirts.
And releasing some pretty good-looking games and like having a really involved conversation about it, Sony just kind of said like, hey, here's some hot shots.
I'm already mad that I'm saying this. It kind of, to make a dumb sports analogy, it kind of feels like Sony played not to lose. They played prevent defense.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the stuff that they again, also just the notion of like reviewing a conference is weird in itself. Whose capitalistic bombardment was more exciting? But anyways, they a lot of the stuff they kind of showed off was, things we had already known about. A lot of this stuff is, I don't know if they were just kind of in between cycles, but we already knew about the Uncharted standalone story. We knew about the Crash Bandicoot stuff. We knew about Spider-Man. We knew about Horizon Dawn expansion. Days Gone was already something we were kind of aware of. Knack 2. Marvel vs. Capcom.
You had to sneak that Knack 2 in there.
Oh, yeah.
You just couldn't let it go.
A VR block that was just... I was checking in on a couple of different streams, and people were just like, "Oh my god, the VR!" Oh, it's just like, wow, these people are not excited about VR.
I can't wait for Final Fantasy Fishing VR 15X.
Yes.
This is Sony. When I saw Final Fantasy 15 Monster of the Deep VR, I said to one of my coworkers, like, "This is Sony trying to kill the PSVR. This is their first attempt."
people are just gonna trade their
At least it's not
PS4s
a
back
shooting
in
gallery.
because this game
You know,
exists.
at least it's not a shooting gallery.
This is almost worse.
Gallery.
This
We
is
also
actually.
talk about how they opened up what I thought was their press conference, but I don't think was, but maybe was, with the fucking Jackbox clone. Like, of all the games you're gonna lead off with, like a worse Jackbox.
Worse.
Come on, guys.
They showed off Monster Hunter World. That game looked hot.
They did. That looked
Yeah.
good.
Console
That looks
Monster Hunter.
interesting.
I mean,
I like me some Monster
I think
Hunter.
I feel like that's something people have been clamoring for forever. So that's
A
exciting.
fully online Monster Hunter. That looked hot.
Here's some real quick notes I saw in the weird thing that I thought was the presser that wasn't. They announced Undertale for PlayStation, which I thought was cool. They said the words Vita, so it's still a thing. So real quick, I'm gonna give you my notes. Just my thought. We had the Ni no Kuni 2. Know nothing about this year. Then I had PS4 Pro demo ? PS View commercial ? Oh, that wasn't the presser ? And then they launched into the weird, like, cool ethnic music to the Uncharted.
You want to you want to lock that word in, Josh?
Yeah, I
Ethnic?
do, because that's what they were. That was the vibe
I
they were going
apologize on
for.
his behalf.
They
I'm
weren't sitting
sorry.
there like explaining anything. They're just like, "Hey, look, we got some like music from around the world to signify Nathan Drake's adventures, but he's not in this game."
I was actually
I'm pretty
scared
excited for that,
that an Uncharted 5 was coming out, and I, like Mike, agree after playing 4. No! Show some artistic integrity, show some restraint. The series is over. It's done.
And it's just, and from a story point, I'm really interested for the Lost Legacy. I think the two characters who are starring in it, Chloe and Nadine. I think there's an interesting story to be told there, but the gameplay of Uncharted is it's a thing, and it has been for like 10 years. So I'm
I don't care
I'm
about Lost
tired.
Legacy.
I'm ready for something new. I guess I was not expecting them to announce a legitimate remake of Shadow of the Colossus. That was pretty neat.
I mean, it's just a remaster for the PS4, so if you've never played Shadow of the Colossus, that's great. Go get that. But
I mean, it definitely looked like it was a pretty. It's not just like because there is
full in depth.
a version of Shadow of the Colossus
Square
for the
Enix
PS3
could take a fucking lesson.
where they just kind of like up. I don't know if they adjust the put it in like HD, but this one looks like a full on remake. Like they're, the textures are have been edited. Like, the only thing that they need to do is just the controls. Because if you go back and play that game now, it is rough.
I'll take your word for it. I enjoyed it the first time I played it.
Yeah, I very much enjoy that game. I've gone back to it recently and been like, oh boy, I like this game, but dang, games have changed a lot since this came out. So, and I saw that they are going to be, giving you controller options in that. So I'm like, sweet, okay, it's prettier, but I can actually play it. Nice. So yeah, I guess I was just pretty. I mean, with kind of Sony's slate, it was. I mean, not that it was bad. It was just that it was a lot of. I think people had a lot of hype had built up around a new From Software game, the Dark Souls people, that did not appear.
No.
And other
no,
kinds
it did
of,
not.
other kinds of. I guess we're expecting kind of more just from it. So, I don't know. It was just. I mean, it's just stuff that it's cool to see them making progress on things like Spider-Man and Days Gone, or I don't really care about Days Gone that much. But
the peak you have for no.
Yeah, so it's just I guess it didn't really move the needle for me. I wasn't there are some people who are wildly disappointed by it, but I think it's when you look at these conferences like, oh no, these games that are coming out in 2018 is kind of not. I'm not super feeling excited about them. It's like, well, there are so many great games that are coming out this year that you'll be okay if the first part of 2018 is just a little slow. You'll be fine. There's so much good stuff happening this year that you'll be great. So
I think what many people are used to is for the last 4 E3s in a row since 2012. Well, yeah, for 4 years in a row, Sony just delivered just stellar press conferences that had you on the edge of your seat and got you excited for not only their console, but the products that they were releasing for it. And this year, it's like, oh, God, what am I playing on my PS4?
And kind of like Josh said, just the production of it just felt odd.
Just a YouTube playlist.
It felt strange. It was just it was kind of it started and then it's over.
It wasn't until after the Days Gone thing where I then had followed weird bowing man stopped because they shot to somebody in the crowd bowing, and I was like, no, you need to not do that.
Oh my
god! But that's when they first brought somebody out to say anything. And it felt like it took a long time, and they weren't really providing any context for anything, which some of those things didn't need. But I think at a press conference there should be a little more interactivity rather than just
because even Nintendo's pre-recorded 30-minute Switch video had more interaction than and more interaction than the Sony one did, and I guess I know sometimes it's kind of exhausting, but it's I like to see the developers, come up. I know putting together a demo can be really hard sometimes for these conferences and really stressful. But I really like to see the developers come up on stage, talk about their game, some kind of things they're working on, and kind of do the talk and demo thing.
Seeing a developer excited about their game helps you get more excited about it.
Yeah, and I think they can offer a good perspective on it. And I don't think Sony had any of that. I don't think there were any demos at all, which I just found strange. I mean, I don't think Microsoft had a ton either, but it was weird.
Speaking of Nintendo, let's get into what was personally my favorite press conference, because as I told one of my friends, Nintendo just unzipped their pants, slapped it on the table, and said, "Look at it. Now look at it." And everyone did, and everyone applauded and said, "That is excellent."
That is an excellent copy of Super Mario Odyssey that you pulled out of your pants.
It was Super Mario Odyssey. It was the big Metroid announcement. Not since 2001 has Nintendo come to an E3 with two Metroid games.
Guys, you're really burying the lead here.
Don't talk about that Yoshi game.
Rocket League is coming to the Switch.
That is pretty cool, though.
That's with all the downloadable content, and it's going to have crossplay. So if you're on PS4 Rocket League, you can play with Switch Rocket League, and that's doing it right. Great.
Actually, not if you're on PS4.
Oh, that's right. Sony's blocking that. Yeah. Step your game up, Sony. Else. Step your game up. Okay, hold on. I have to geek out for a minute. All I did was show the title card saying Metroid Prime 4. And the internet lost their collective shit.
Oh, God. It is the second most talked about game from E3.
And all I did was show, not even the trailer, just the title card, Metroid. That's what I mean by unzip their pants. They're not even doing anything with it. You just get to look.
It wasn't Metroid Prime 4, Blast Ball, and the other two between 1 and 3, or 1 and 4.
It wasn't Metroid Prime Federation Force.
It was just legitimate Metroid Prime 4, and it was there. It was an announcement for it. It's a long ways off, but
yeah, Ray. I put a picture in our chat here so you can see social media stuff. It's number 2 from E3.
But I think it again, looking at the objectives, I think people what Nintendo had to do to, I imagine, be successful. I think that they knocked it out of the park. I mean, they were okay. Let's get people excited about the Switch, and Gravy bring back and Gravy do some more stuff with our old IP. So it's we went from having kind of a bleak future on the horizon of Metroid to Metroid Prime 4, and I guess a full-on kind of remake of an official remake of Metroid 2, which will be
that makes the DMCA and the takedown make a lot more sense now. They took it down because in the background they were working on their own remake. I get it. I'm not as mad as I was before.
And you have to defend your IP, or else you lose.
You lose it.
So
yeah.
I get that.
So I
they
looked
let it
at
come
the
out, which is
they let it out for what was it, like 8 hours?
long enough for there to be enough copies indefinitely.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
Good.
yeah.
So good
can I
guy
just-
Nintendo, I guess.
I have a lot of as the Metroid man.
Okay. All right. Not
Got a
gonna debate
lot
that.
of got a lot of feelings, and I've been processing this a lot over the last few days, and I might write something and post it later, like
Okay.
really getting in depth here. I'm very nervous about Prime 4. I don't know what they're going to do with that, and that
Are you saying that because Retro isn't making it?
not necessarily because Retro isn't making it, because they're calling it Prime and they're calling it 4.
Okay.
That doesn't mean that they're not going to be able to go and do something really special with this game, to do something new, to try and change up the mechanics. But calling it a Prime game, in a lot of minds, puts it in a certain box. A box that I don't necessarily know that I want another game in, or that a game in this era necessarily works without a lot of heavy modification. Also struggling to see like what story they tell in the Prime universe. After 3, like where do they go if they're not either doing something completely different that doesn't need Prime 4, or that just rehashes stuff that had already been closed and kind of coming up with ways to bring it back. Plus there's the whole like, technically Prime got retconned because of shit that happened in Other M, so this might not be.
Maybe this overtakes Other M. Can we also say, like, Josh, you'll understand this. In the Prime games, they all revolve around Dark Samus, and Prime 3 establishes very firmly Dark Samus is dead.
Yeah, they fucked that up. She dead. She gone.
So if all the Prime games are all kind of this story about Samus dealing with Dark Samus, who's technically the super mother brain
and
or whatever,
phase on, yada yada,
but there's none of that. So it's like that story was pretty much over. Where's there left to go here?
Yeah, I mean, I guess like I'm really curious to see what they do with this. I mean, again, it's super early on, assuming. But I mean, even just between like Metroid Prime 1 and Prime 2, I think, I mean, I didn't love everything they did, but they had like the whole light world, dark world stuff. They came up with areas that looked completely different. There were some really some bosses that had really different, and they expanded on mechanics in a really cool way. So I think definitely there's room to. I think that there's lots of things that creative people at Nintendo can come up with to do with Metroid Prime. I am kind of curious about the control. I mean, because first-person shooters have changed a lot since Metroid Prime first came out. So I'm really interested to see what they do. What they do control-wise.
Prime 1 without the motion controls just fine to me. I mean, you use your R button to move around the camera, you lock on. The game is all really about locking on to your enemies.
Yeah.
That works fine.
Yeah, so I wonder if they make any kind of adjust big changes there or not.
I will say, though, personally, it took a lot going back to Prime 1 after having played Prime 3 and getting used to that. That took some time to readjust to be like, oh, I can't just like look around. I have to lock on and whatnot. You can get used to it, but
yeah, you get used to it quick. I've found.
Yeah, I am not upset that there's going to be a new Metroid game. I really hope it's good, regardless of what they do.
I was about to say, if you were just gonna shit talk a Metroid Prime 4 announce, I don't know who you are.
I'm just nervous because of Other M, but B, because I wanted them to push the envelope a little more, to maybe carry on after Fusion, or to tell a new story.
Well, this is a new story. Are you talking about like a brand new story? Because Fusion is just Metroid 4. It says it in the title card when you turn the game on.
Yeah, but so give me Metroid 5. Like, give me the continuation of that. What does Samus's life look like after she's been permanently altered?
Okay.
You know,
I see what you mean. Since Prime is a prequel series, you want a continuation after her fusion suit.
You want the guns of the Patriots of Metroid. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or you know.
Okay. Or some would say the Otogi 3 of Metroid. Okay.
You know what? I'm not going to ask for Metroid Dread because, one, Metroid Prime, even though all they showed was just a fucking title card. No information. Literally nothing. Just a title card.
A lot of the assets in Metroid 2 anyway.
It had that Metroid Prime theme, like, main menu music, which is some of the... Yeah. That's some GOAT tier, like...
I just...
but they also show the Metroid Samus Returns, and I watched 2 hours of that game getting played in the Treehouse Direct, and I was enjoying every second of that. I was like, whoa, good lord, Nintendo!
Lord, it's hard.
I need a mint julep.
I need a Metroid julep, please.
And then they showed the amiibo for it. I was like, oh no! Oh, stop! that game hit me in the sweet spot because you can move around Samus's gun, and the one right before Omega Metroids is it Alpha, Beta, Gamma. The Gamma ones look exactly like Xenomorphs from the Alien series, and Samus has to quick maneuver so she can grab one of those Metroids off when they're jumping, grab them by the tail, slam them to the ground, and shoot them in the weak point. I was like, oh god, they brought back the combat from Other M, and it's
Metroid
good.
Prime came out in 2002. Oh shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been a while.
It's really been 15 years. Oh god. Ooh.
Yes.
That's weird.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
I like that Return of Samus, you know, they did the combat that Other M should have done and made it flow the way that it should have, and, you know, not fucking broken it up with stupid fucking first person.
Breathe.
Other M knows what
No,
it did.
the future is good now, Josh. It's good. It's happy. It's bright. There's exciting new Metroid in your life. Yes,
I'm liking
place.
this whole Zero Mission style. Let's retell the story of a game, especially that only the most hardcore Metroid fans have played because was only available on the Game Boy, not very well dispersed, challenging. So let's retell it. Let's do what we did with Zero Mission and, you know, add some stuff to it. You know, this whole kind of underpinning of some additional Chozo artifacts and technology and whatnot, things that we couldn't have done in the original game. Yeah, I might actually have to get a 3DS now.
I'm excited. I was very excited watching that game.
I've heard some people talking that has made me a little nervous, but I think this might be okay. But like, a lot of people are saying like, oh, this is the same developer that did the Castlevania game a year or two ago that wasn't very good, and it looks a lot like it. But
yeah, I saw that as well.
The people make games
Mercury
that aren't great
Stream.
sometimes, but then you know, there's always all the stories about like, oh, the person who directed this movie is, you know, bad. Why are they getting this movie? And then all of a sudden, bang. So,
Josh, I want to remind you that Retro Studios made licensed games before Metroid Prime.
Oh yeah, they were bad too.
I want to remind you of that. And then they're like, give us a chance, Nintendo, and they did. History was made.
I'm not saying that this is any indication. This is just the smoke on the street. This is things I've heard around the internet.
Scuttlebutt.
Yeah, so that just something. I've been hurt before.
I was there for Other M. Okay.
I'm looking for any reason to temper my
Please show
expectations.
the court where on the doll where the other M touched you.
I would much rather have my mind blown than get too hyped like the Metroid subreddit did and then be disappointed again. I just can't. I can't do it. So.
Do we want to talk about Super Mario Odyssey?
Actually, just one quick thing here.
Yeah.
Because Josh mentioned that he was I was like, wow, I might need to get a 2DS, and the answer is, I said 2DS or 3DS. You know what I meant.
The answer, the 2DS.
Yeah, you probably should because Nintendo's main stuff was kind of focused on the Switch, but in some of their Treehouse stuff, they announced they announced the Samus Returns. They announced a remake of Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga.
Yeah, I'm actually excited for that too.
And that's what? I was kind of honestly especially with how the Switch is selling, I was like, I'm not really going to be surprised if they're just kind of paying lip service to the 3DS and are willing to. I mean, it had a great run. It's a great device, but it's like they're putting out games for it. It's like. But, I mean, you look at the install base and just see how massive it is. I mean, it's a fool's errand to walk away from that. But so, if people are still buying for it. So
even if the Switch can get to those numbers, it's going to take a while for that many Switches to get out there while they get the library. Yeah. So it's like, why not capitalize on this market while it's still there? And like, hey, we're really good at making 3DS hardware now.
Yeah.
And like, we know how to make the games. Like, fucking just cranks them out as this game comes to the end.
Now, and it has a humongous library, and they're still supporting it. So it's like, that's like, again, it's just like more gravy for Nintendo here at E3. Is that like, oh, by the way, like this thing is the exact opposite of the Vita in that it's a kick-ass piece of hardware that we are still supporting, even though it's it's probably past its prime. Like it's like the LeBron James of handheld.
Nintendo
remembers money. Spicy.
Multiple primes. It just keeps going. It's still good.
Ooh.
Nintendo like woke up this year and said like, guys, we can print money, right? And they're like, oh shit, we can. Fucking turn them on.
Okay.
Turn on the money printing machine.
Turn on the money printing machine. That means we're just going to burn through, okay, there's a new Yoshi, looks adorable and great. New Kirby, that looks adorable and great. I don't really play anime games, but I think people like Xenoblade Chronicles 2. There's an untitled, full-on Pokemon RPG that's in development for the Switch. Fire Emblem Warriors, I like Dynasty Warriors and Fire Emblem.
Can I also just say real quick, Reggie at the fucking beginning of the stream, he gonna fuck you up, because he only happy and has fun when he's battling.
Open your mind. I don't even know what it means to close my focus.
It's only
but I'm
fun
try
when
as
you
hard
battle,
as I can, Reggie.
and you only battle when you have fun. Because I'm Reggie Fils-Aimé, and I'm gonna beat the shit out of you.
Close your focus and open your mind.
Super Mario Odyssey.
Super Mario Odyssey.
That game looks hot. That realistic T-Rex with the Mario hat and the mustache. I was like, Nintendo's back. They never left, but they're back in a big bad way.
That was a legit 10 out of 10 trailer. Like, it's just...
Everything would have been a better game if every time you took over something, it'd get a mustache and a Mario hat. Like, basically, Nintendo saw everything and said, like, why don't we do that with Mario? And then they fucking did.
Yeah, and just like, I mean, I love like the color and like I know it kind of bothers some people, but I love the whole like weird mishmash of like aesthetics. Like you have like this super realistic looking T-Rex, and then like all the cutesy like desert sugar skull people, and then like the weird like way too realistic New Donk City people, and then Mario's like throwing his hat at them, and then he becomes a human. But
that is weird.
It's really great. And then he's like a taxi cab, and just like all the, I mean, and
then he turns into electricity.
And
I hope they never say anything about it. I hope it just like, yeah, that's it. That's normal. Like, it doesn't need any explanation. Like, bucket, whatever. Mario walks around with these people like it's normal.
I think that was
he's
probably
just a plumber from New York. What do you want?
Like, why does Mario look the way he does, and he's surrounded by these like to scale humans? That needs to be addressed in a big. I won't sleep when I'm playing that game unless they address that.
I don't want them to. And I don't want them to talk about it. I want it like to be just like it's completely normal. Nobody even like seems like it's weird. It just is what it is.
All right.
And weird dapper Bowser and the color and just it just the and Nintendo's been really great about
Mario is everything.
Like Nintendo's been really great about like music and like the score in games. Well, lately, especially when they've gone to like the full like orchestral stuff. But it's just like this song in this trailer is so good. Like and it's so many like hat puns and like Mario puns, and
and then like a couple places like Mario goes 8-bit and like gets flat on surfaces to traverse
and like
them.
all the other like Mario callbacks. Like you can be the hat's a weapon. I know people. I loved 3D World. I think it's a super great Mario game. But I think this game is kind of like a successor to their more full on like Galaxy Sunshine 64 kind of lineage, and it just is. I mean, I don't even know what to say. It's just other than like, I can't wait to get my hands on this game because it looks like it has so much creativity and energy in it, and just like performance wise it looks gorgeous. Like I don't know how they do it. Like I mean just they're so good at like getting every ounce of like juice they can out of whatever device they're using with like the Switch, for example, because it looks gorgeous. The art style is so good and it looks beautiful on this.
I'm excited for it. Are you excited for... Is anyone excited for the Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild DLC?
I'm curious about it. I mean, it seems like... I think it's $20 for all the like the story stuff later this year and kind of the other not as big updates. Mm-hmm. So I'm curious about it, but I'm not dying for it because the Breath of the Wild is already like a damn... It's like Nintendo's just kind of running up the scoreboard on the Game of the Year debate right now. It's kind of hilarious. I mean, obviously, we'll wait and see until Mario comes out and if it's actually good. But I mean, come on, like you could be a taxi.
You could be a Bullet Bill. I want to be Mario Bullet Bill with the hat and the mustache.
Bill, a dinosaur.
Coming at you, motherfucker.
There's jazz. Like what else do you need? There's nothing else to. There's nothing else you need here. Just, don't.
I think
Nintendo.
I need to finish Breath of the Wild before I can be excited about DLC. So I have no opinion, really.
In my opinion, for the DLC, I got I dumped like 75, 80 hours into Breath of the Wild, and I'm like, of that 70 or 75 to 80 hours, there's still probably like another 75 or 80 hours of content I just told myself I'm not going to do. So giving me the option to buy DLC, to me, is like, that's cool that you're continuously supporting this game, but there is so much game in this game, I'm kind of done with it. Thank you for keeping the people that are interested in it, but I am good. This is a really solid game, and I'm good. So my lack of interest in the DLC is that like the game you release is way too big. Like I don't need more on top of this. There's already
your game
too
is
much.
Too perfect already. Don't touch it.
Kind of in a way.
Also, I think the best thing about Super Mario Odyssey is Bowser's plan, because he's like, oh, I'm just going to marry Princess Peach, and then it won't be kidnapping anymore, and then it will be fine.
Yeah, the villain is like an evil wedding planning company. What? What is this game?
Like,
have you seen the amiibos where like Peach is confused? Who do I pick, Mario or Bowser? Like, bitch, why is that a question?
Each other.
Also, the fact that we're not getting one, but two completely new Mario games this year with completely different gameplay mechanics than we've ever seen before. Like,
wait, what two are you talking about besides Mario Odyssey?
Mario Odyssey and Mario and Rabbids.
Oh yeah, you're right.
We're getting two Mario games this year, guys.
That's a Ubisoft game that just uses Mario prop. Yeah,
I can't wait for Mario Cross Tekken. That's gonna be the real one.
Yeah. So Smash Brothers ain't doing it for you anymore. Now you got to bring in Jin Kazama. That's what's going on.
I want to see Mario sock the shit out of King. Get your knucklehead out of here.
Yahoo! Bam!
Ring out!
Round one, fight. Actually, the more and more we talk about this, the more and more I'm kind of interested.
Yeah, me too.
It's actually not sounding like that bad. I know we're bullshitting, but it actually sounds kind of fun. Just Mario, just like with the 4-button control style of right fist, left kick, right kick.
Yeah.
And you have to fight like Hihachi.
Yes. I like
Or
this
Paul!
Yes. I guess in conclusion for thoughts on Nintendo E3, if you were looking to feel good or wanted more reasons to buy a Switch, I think Nintendo did a pretty good job of giving you a lot of good things to look forward to on the horizon. I mean, they said a lot of the stuff that they announced or that they showed a lot of footage of is at the latest coming in early 2018, so it's coming around the corner fast. I mean, there's other stuff you can play on the Switch right now that is great. They didn't. Honestly thought that there was gonna be more in terms of like Wii U kind of remasters, just because of the huge like potential there. I mean, they already got Mario Kart 8 out, which is like the big one, but I wouldn't have been surprised for like a Smash Bros. Deluxe, and I mean they still have that in the back pocket. So like, yeah, I think that's I think I'm pretty. I think that's kind of all I've got for E3.
Yeah,
It was a pretty fun one. It was
definitely a better year than I expected. I was not expecting the level that we got.
Apparently, it wasn't fun if you were there and you actually were there as your job as a presser, because it was the most crowded E3 to the point where they opened early because too many people were standing in line outside the convention center, which hasn't happened before. And there were people sending out tweets, and I was reading some of the presser tweets saying, like, I can't make appointments because I can't get through the crowds to get to my press appointments.
Yeah, it feels like they all, I guess, like, because this is the first time it's technically been, like, fully open to the public.
Right.
It feels like there's a bit of, like event planning that it almost seems like they decided too late to open it up to the public, in that they had plenty of time to sell tickets for it, but not enough time to actually like plan around it. So hopefully that's something that they're working on organizing for next year.
I pasted this article to you guys for people that want to see how the sausage is made. Sometimes we talk about like right now we're talking about E3 being open to the public. We briefly talked about this earlier. Apparently they didn't sell enough tickets to actual press. They scaled back their actual press tickets to allow more public tickets. And I think for a trade show to do that is both, one, desperate, and two, scummy. That's just scumfuck. Like,
At the very least.
Yeah. I don't know, maybe scumfuck's too harsh a word. I think if I was, like, part of the press, and I was told, no, we need more public, some of them in cosplay, to come to this event more than we need you, it's like, I'm sorry, what? This is a trade show. This isn't PAX. Excuse you. I think you're right. It's a mess up in event planning is what it is, and maybe they'll get it right next year, or maybe next year E3 dies a little bit more and it becomes more like PAX. It just becomes another PAX. Is that what they want? Is that what you want, ESA?
I mean, I have a feeling it'll go towards that. You know, hopefully it'll still be.
And I'm not shit talking PAX. It has its place.
I just, and we can have a greater discussion about this later, and I'm sure we will as time goes on. But like, the need for a trade show like E3 is getting less and less because you don't have retailers the same way trying to find out what they're going to be putting on their shelves. That stuff is a lot more. There are other ways to do that, and a lot of that stuff is definitely more set by other factors than by getting together at a trade show like this. So I do think that for E3 to remain relevant and even still be the event where everybody gets together to announce things like that, like, they do have to find a way to change to keep it both financially viable and relevant, to keep companies coming back. So I don't know if this is necessarily the answer, but they've got to do something to change.
Okay, I agree. Of course I agree.
Yeah, but who knows? But
Final
yeah, I think
thoughts?
that's
Think
this
I'm
E3
good.
was a lot. Yeah, there was a lot better E3 than I thought.
Man, I want that Mario game.
You don't have to wait too long. October.
I want
So
Good.
Yeah.
It was a good time to watch, especially Nintendo's showing. That was exciting.
But if you want to make sure you fill your time between now and the release of the 2 new Mario games, you make sure to follow us here on YouTube at Unscripted Gaming. Go to Facebook.com, click the like button at Unscripted Gaming. Follow us on Twitter at Unscript_gaming. If you don't want to watch us, you can get us in your ears at SoundCloud.com/unscripted-gaming. Also on iTunes, Google Play Music, Stitcher, Pocket Casts. All the fucking places you get your podcasts. Get us in your ears or in your eyes. Do it. Interact us with us on the social because we're cool and you're cool.
Blam.
Yeah. Keep that time between now and Mario occupied with Unscripted Gaming.
Place X.
Oh, for fuck's sake!
We'll add something new to it. Josh and I
Thanks
had a
for
hankering
listening.
for doing something new, so we'll see what we think.
Sounds
I'm
good.
Josh.
I'm Mike.
I'm Ray.
Peace.